Welcome back to the Arena Cup 2016 here in Innsbruck. It's the second Arena Cup here in Innsbruck, and there are only 2 players left in the VGC Masters division. We are pumped to get right back into the action, and we have 2 players that have made it to the final 2.
Yeah, that's right. Our finalists for this tournament are Felix Rössler and Christoph Kugler. Christoph, of course, an old veteran of the game, already played 2 times at Worlds, has around 250 championship points already, aiming for the Worlds again. So it's a huge tournament for him today. And Felix had last game already played for a few years, had a few major top cuts at national tournaments. And we are jumping right into the game where Felix uses his Talonflame and Smeargle, and Christoph going for the Kangaskhan and Kyogre.
Maybe if you followed the top 4, you maybe noticed that Felix is again at the bottom of your screen, and at the top you can see Christoph's team.
And what we can see right now here, we have a Kyogre that did not primal evolve.
Well, that's something new.
So probably gonna have a Choice Scarf. That's usually the only other Kyogre you play. But we will see how this game will develop. Definitely a little bit else to see.
Well, I would be impressed if you didn't pack a Mega Kangaskhan. That would be something new.
Well, you don't play Kangaskhan without a Mega Stone. But
I was trying to make a joke.
Well,
I failed.
You know, I am a very serious person if it goes to Pokémon.
I know.
But
so here's that nice and shiny Mega Kangaskhan. Smeargle making sure that Kyogre is not going to attack anytime soon. And Tailwind coming up from that Talonflame. Now let's see what Kangaskhan is going to do.
So Kangaskhan for going for the double edge.
Going for a lot of damage on which Pokemon? Smeargle. The sash, it won't matter because Kangaskhan is packing a second punch, so Smeargle going down in the very first turn.
Well, he had to do it because otherwise you would have a Smeargle under Tailwind, and you don't want a Smeargle under Tailwind as your opponent. So Kyogre now free to go, but of course Groudon comes and brings in the Primal Sun.
So that little drizzle coming with Kyogre now being reversed into a heavy drought brought by Primal Groudon's desolate land.
And of course that's usually the biggest weakness that Kyogre has, that it can't override the Sun of a Primal Pokemon, because the drizzle ability is of course just a normal rain ability. But as you can see, Christoph has a nice Pokemon called Rayquaza, and it can cancel all weather effects, making it possible for Groudon to be hit by water-type attacks, even though the strong Sun is out in the field. So let's see if Felix will be able to see this play from his opponent.
The 2 best players here at the Arena Cup in Innsbruck battling it off for the title, for the championship points, for the silent pride, as he calls this Kyogre. Getting back to Christoph, and he's bringing in indeed Rayquaza.
Yeah, but switching out for the Kyogre, I would have anticipated that the Kangaskhan would have switched out here.
Instead, the Brave Bird is hitting Rayquaza for massive damage.
Rayquaza not known to be the most defensive Pokemon, and
but
pretty
it's
squishy
dodging
actually.
that ground attack. However, Kangaskhan has to take it. Well, it does take it, but Double Edge now, depending on how much damage it does, might backfire.
Well, he's taking the Talonflame with him at least.
And let's see if that's enough for Mega Kangaskhan. No, it can't hang on, so double KO, 1 on both sides. Kangaskhan and Talonflame both going down. And now Kyogre is free to come back, or maybe a Pokemon we haven't seen yet from Christoph.
So if I remember correctly, he didn't even pick one of his Mega Pokemon, Felix, here, but of course the Xernea's not that easy to deal with. Rayquaza can do some damage, but it won't be quite enough.
Christoph's Grrr is out there.
And of course the Rayquaza can't Mega Evolve anymore because the Kangaskhan already used its Mega Evolution, and you can only have one of those in a game.
So that Talonflame threatening Xerneas. We've seen Felix Xerneas win him game after he was able to set up those geomancies. Let's see if he can do so again. Felix is under pressure because the last two of his Pokemon are out already.
Well, of course, the Xerneas can't just ignore that the Talonflame and the Rayquaza can hit it with strong flying type attacks. But it's all about prediction here, and if he predicts that... so what do we see here? The Rayquaza going for the Protect, giving the
Tailwind. We saw this play very often today. Protect and Tailwind at the same time. Geomancy, Felix is not having any of it. He's taking the time to set up his Xerneas. And now let's see what Groudon is doing.
So of course, after the Geomancy, it should be even faster than the Pokemon under Tailwind. But we don't know quite yet how fast he made it. So probably we have a speed
Rock Tomb.
Rock Tomb. Now this is
4 times effective, taking down the Talonflame. That is huge.
Rock Tomb has style, I would say.
Wow. You thought that Rock Tomb has not enough base damage. Well, here you go, taking out that Talonflame. And now it's only Silent Pride and Rayquaza on Christoph's field. Now it's 2-on-2. Now that's fair, or is Xerneas at a big advantage here?
Xerneas definitely at a big advantage. It can probably even take a Dragon Ascent from the Rayquaza here. Of course, the Groudon right now being threatened by the Kyogre because Rayquaza cancels the weather. But the Xerneas is such a huge threat at the moment that I don't think Christoph can do too much in this game anymore.
Extreme Speed coming out, so Rayquaza wants to deal some damage before going down. Maybe 1/4 of Xerneas' health. And the Dazzling Gleam. Wow, a lot of damage on Kyogre. And a critical hit that didn't matter. Rayquaza was going down either way. So, Origin Pulse, but Rayquaza is off the field, so it doesn't affect Groudon or Xerneas anymore. And the ground attack is enough to take it out. Well done by Felix.
Really solid gameplay by Felix here. Of course, Christoph had to take a little bit care of the Smeargle to kind of play around it, but he didn't find any way to beat this combination. And the Xerneas getting off the Geomancy at that moment, that was definitely the crucial part in this game.
What I find impressive is that not only did Felix predict and win the weather war, but what I find impressive after seeing Felix now a second time is he always finds the right timing to set up with his Xerneas.
Yeah, Christoph definitely had to take a little bit more risk. I think he did play it a little bit, tried to play it a little bit too safe. He has to be a little bit more offensive now in the next game, otherwise I don't see how he can beat the team of Felix right now.
You gotta have the guts to go with that Geomancy, with that Talonflame threatening you, but he was either predicting it or he just didn't care.
Yeah.
He saw that Tailwind coming right through, he was right and took down the first game.
It's always, I mean, it's also easy to say he could have done that, but of course, if the Xerneas would have protected and you go right into it to get it out, you wouldn't have achieved anything, or just the Groudon giving Groudon a free attack. So
yeah, you know out there on YouTube, you know that the two guys sitting here at the commentator booth are not the smartest ones, because if we were, we would be sitting at the featured match and you guys would be commentating on our action.
That's true.
So here's this drizzle of that Silent Pride Kyogre. We have Smeargle again on Felix side, as well as Talonflame and Ultra Unboxer, and that is Christoph's Mega Kangaskhan.
So let's see what what plan Christoph has now to play around Felix's threats. He knows a little bit about the team now after the first match. So let's see if he can make use of this information. So right now, of course, the Smeargle always threatening Präsenz. Probably gonna protect though in this first round, because it can't deal too good against the Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan took out Smeargle in one hit, 1-2 punch. Last game, we remember that, but Felix was able to recover from that. So here's the Mega Evolution. No one's switching out any Pokemon, the Fake Out coming out. But this time from Kangaskhan, Talonflame not being able to move and losing half of its health in the process. No. Another Fake Out and on Kyogre. Well,
actually,
that looks familiar.
Fake Out, Well, Felix would have lost his Talonflame to the Water Spout, and even if though he could have put to sleep both of the opposing Pokemon, probably that was a little bit safer play, because missing one of those Dark Voids would have meant huge problems for Felix after Kyogre's attack. But how does he want to deal with this threat now? Felix's situation has not bettered too much.
Not as explosive as the last game's start was. Now Kyogre is switching out. And grrr, coming, that's Christoph's Talonflame, nice and shiny.
So he goes for the Protect or Spiky Shield in this regard.
Now Kangaskhan doesn't want to attack. Tailwind, we've seen that over and over again, a Protect move and Tailwind. And now what does Kangaskhan do? It's Double Edge.
He goes for the Talonflame though.
Nice prediction.
Very nice prediction of Christopher's part. But those are the risks you have to take if you want to take it in this finals.
And just like that, that's how the tables can turn as Smirgle's
Moody not helping him very much.
Nah, not at all.
A little bit unlucky for Felix, but that's a gamble you take when you take out Smirgle here.
And Christoph gotta feel nice about him right now. And that's Xerneas again. You can tell from his Japanese name. Let's see if Felix is able to set that Xerneas up one more time.
Yeah. Well,
you gotta believe if all that offensive pressure that Christoph has on the field, there's no way that Xerneas can use Geomancy again.
Well, of course, Christoph has to consider if he goes full force against the Xerneas and he uses
but yet again,
Protect.
It's Tailwind on that Talonflame. Geomancy, I can't believe we're seeing it yet another time.
Yeah, but if Christopher goes now for against the Xerneas, he's in a pretty good spot to KO it with the Brave Bird afterwards. But maybe he has to take a sleep move from the Smirgle. Then let's see what he will choose.
Oh, Dark Void coming out. Who is it going to be?
It's hitting both Pokemon even after the accuracy drop. The huge accuracy drop, I might add.
Oh no, Kangaskhan avoided it.
He avoided it?
Kangaskhan avoided it. Now it's can attack. It's Double Edge on who?
Who's gonna hit?
Oh, it's
gonna fall for the
going down after the sash. Doesn't matter.
But how is Christoph gonna take care of this Xerneas now? It's on full health and it's Geomancy again.
Unbelievable. And we both suspect Groudon to come out again. It has to be Groudon, right?
Of course it has to be Groudon.
And there we go. Have we seen this one before? Felix is going full force for this title.
Christoph now in a huge pickle, going against full force Groudon and Geomancy Xerneas on full health. I don't know how he will be able to withstand this attacking force.
Amazing, just amazing. Let's see if Christoph responds just like he did last time, bringing him that Rayquaza as a response to Groudon. But the real issue here is Xerneas is ready to go.
And Talonflame has a really bad timing on taking his naps.
Kangaskhan must not feel that all that nice facing that Xerneas.
A little bit overwhelmed here, but what can Christoph do?
You know, I was always wondering, how can these bird Pokemon sleep and fly at the same time? It's amazing.
It's just a reflex, really.
It's magic.
I mean, if he goes to the ground, then he would be hit by Groudon and would probably be taken out.
That would make
he doesn't want any of that.
Oh, and again, Xerneas is not going into the offenses. It's protecting himself instead, giving a turn to Talonflame to wake up. Sucker Punch, but it failed, and now Groudon's Rock Tomb again! We've seen that before, but not on Talonflame. Instead, it's Kangaskhan's.
Yeah, he goes for the speed drop. That's why you play this move in the first place. And of course, the added bonus of being able to one-hit KO Talonflame is also nice, since, as you saw, many teams are playing Talonflame right now, alongside Kangaskhan and Groudon.
Just when you think that now everyone's going to be offensive, that's when you see a round like this. This is why those players are so good.
Yeah. But Felix always getting into better and better positions. This Talonflame still not waking up, which means huge problems.
Sucker Punch hitting, but for how much damage? That's not enough at all. Now Xerneas, that means it's going to attack Dazzling Gleam, connected with both Pokemon.
Should be enough, at least for the Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan is gone, and Groudon probably going for the Rock Tomb again. There it is. connecting, and it's a double KO.
Well, yeah, as bad as the move maybe seemed to go for a sucker punch on the Xerneas, he will probably need this chip damage to be able to do something with his Pokemon now in the next turn.
And there are quite a few flying Pokemon out there, you gotta say.
Well, with Groudon being the hugest threat in the whole meta game, you want to have a few Pokemon that can resist its Precipice Blades.
And again, it's Kyogre and Rayquaza on Christoph's side. So Rayquaza making sure that Kyogre can actually hit Groudon.
So we will see what he, how he will try to handle this. Of course, once the Rayquaza leaves the battlefield, Kyogre can't do anything anymore.
While it is 2-on-2, we have one primal Pokemon and one setup Xerneas on Felix's side. And Felix decides to take it slow, double protecting.
So he's anticipating a protect from one of Christopher's Pokemon, but Christopher playing it nice and attacking with both.
Whoa!
The Swords Dance!
Taking a risk here, but he has to at this point, I feel.
It's the only way he can deal a KO to this pesky Xerneas. Because Xerneas will always be faster than Rayquaza, with the only way for Rayquaza being the extreme speed.
Felix double protect, made sure that now the Tailwind is gone. But now Rayquaza actually being a threat now, extreme speed. Let's see how much it does. It's Xerneas. Whoa, not taking it too well. Moonblast. Who's it going to hit? It's Kyogre.
Is it enough?
Oh,
it's barely surviving. So this Origin Pulse is huge. But still not enough for the Xerneas though. But Xerneas now having problems against Rayquaza's priority attacks, and in an awesome game, Christoph takes it back actually.
Unbelievable. Of course, Rayquaza's extreme speed will make sure to hit that Xerneas. There's nothing Felix can do.
This 1 HP was so important for Kyogre to survive this attack.
Sometimes that's all it takes. As you can see here, Felix is pondering if he should forfeit this game. There's nothing he can do, he knows. Nothing that could go into his favor. He will have to rely on game 3.
So we will have a really interesting game 3. One of the best finals we had here at the Arena Cups, I might add.
I have to admit, this is a very exciting match. And once again, this Xerneas is putting in so much work. Maybe Christoph wishes he would have brought one on his own.
Well, certainly it would have given him another option, but Christoph has more than enough attacking damage even without Xerneas. I think he made a pretty good team actually, but of course, being a little bit to Xerneas, I don't see too much in his team that can tank Xerneas' attacks really well. But of course, maybe he had a few in there defensive adjustments, so he can survive certain attacks from Xerneas.
Now tell me, every time I've seen now Xerneas being able to go with Geomancy, and every time Xerneas is coming out, it seems to be not even be on the field. It's not being attacked on his first turn, on his first experience, on his first turn when it comes out. Do you have to adjust if you're Christoph to maybe concentrate on Xerneas when it comes out to avoid it from setting up, because this game could have been over much earlier? Well,
Felix can think the same now, and of course you can always anticipate that your Xerneas will get attacked with full force, and just protect and take a whole turn from your opponent, making room for your other Pokemon. But of course, in my opinion, if you don't take the Amoonguss with you, you have to be a little bit more bold about taking out the Xerneas. But again, it's really all out to prediction.
It is funny that you mention it, because we have seen quite a few of Amoonguss in those teams, but not really make it to the Final Four, as Smeargle is using its spiky shield. Oh, and the Tailwind coming up again. Protect and Tailwind at the same time. Very famous combination today. Double Edge coming up. Oh, what Smeargle! That hurts.
Well, nice protect on Smeargle's part, and he gets a defensive boost, but loses the accuracy. It's not something Smeargle wants to lose. But yeah, About Among Us, well, you usually have Among Us on the team because you want to counter the combination of Kyogre and Xerneas. If your opponent is packing a Groudon, you usually don't want to pick this because it can do absolutely nothing against Groudon. And of course, it's always weak also against Talonflame. So I think it's not a Pokemon you usually want to have in this matchup. But it's really the only one he has to counter Xerneas really well.
Felix is relying on his Xerneas again, this time in round number 2. Now Tailwind coming in from the other side.
So
Dark
Smurgle.
Void. Oh!
Away from the Dark Void. Well, that's what can happen if you lose accuracy. But Double Edge, after the defense boost, not quite enough to take out this Smurgle. I never saw a Smurgle survive a
That
Kangaskhan
is
attack,
moody
really.
indeed. The attack boost does matter.
And he loses even more accuracy. That's so bad for Felix right now. Luck is not on his side for this final match. But Xerneas, of course, still a very huge threat. And we saw how devastating it can be in the first match.
Let's see one more time. The mind game's going on right now. As you said, the players are playing on different levels here. Suspecting to make a move and trying to counter it. Let's see if Geomancy is coming in one more time.
So, of course, focusing the Xerneas right now is difficult because you leave the Smurgle. But Smurgle, after two accuracy drops, it will be very lucky to hit anything at all.
Felix having some second thoughts here, going back to Xerneas, changing the attack maybe. Now Smurgle, now waiting on Christoph. Smurgle is coming back.
So he goes for the Talonflame too. Xerneas protects
this time
here.
the protect. Now let's see. Oh, Brave Bird, nice prediction on the incoming Talonflame.
Very good play on Christoph's part, but not quite enough to take out this Talonflame.
HP.
This dreadful 1 HP always, and of course Xerneas protecting itself from Kangaskhan's attack.
But the Tailwind is blowing, coming from Christoph's back, so
Felix really not in an easy spot right now.
He's got that going for him.
So
now Xerneas is not set up. Kangaskhan is going full force ahead.
I don't think Xerneas really has the time right now to even set up, because Christoph can just double edge the Xerneas and Brave Bird the Talonflame. So of course he switches out here, hoping that he'll get a better chance later in the game. Coming up with his Groudon, which also has a really high defensive stat. Probably can tank an attack or two. So what choices did Christoph take here?
Quick Guard coming out. Maybe expecting the Dazzling Gleam. The Brave Bird there was.
Yeah. So Double Edge going for the Groudon, doing some really good damage, but of course not enough to get the knockout. So Tailwind now petered out, giving
Christoph
Felix
reading this game very nicely.
Yeah, Christoph really playing this game really good. But of course the 1 HP Talonflame now a huge threat, because it is in the worst case it's as fast as the Talonflame of Christoph. And this speed tie could, but of course going for the Quick Guard here on Felix's side.
Brave Bird will be protected, and Double Edge coming in, and Groudon protected.
So really nothing happened this turn at the moment, outside of Quick Guard being unusable for Felix anymore. So Christoph in a little bit better position now. He can Quick Guard himself, and the Kangaskhan can just take its time and KO this Groudon. So the players taking their times, considering the moves, and now Christoph goes for the Brave Bird, moves first, taking out the Talonflame on Felix's side. A critical hit,
That matter.
Certainly a huge
Payback time.
bonus for Christoph here. And double edge probably going to be enough to take out this Groudon. Yeah.
It is. Oh, Christoph now very much poised to take on Xerneas and the Smeargle that is already heavily damaged.
Well, still, you have Smeargle and Xerneas. This is a really good combination, but Christoph having more than enough in his team to take care of this combination. And Smeargle, of course, not protected anymore by a Focus Sash. So Christoph should have no problems to take this game in this situation. He only has to attack the Xerneas with his Kangaskhan, only has to attack the Smeargle with his Talonflame. And it should be a game, but we'll see. Maybe Felix has a nice idea how he can get something still out of this game. And never underestimate a Geomancy Xerneas.
He's certainly not going to give up after making it this far. Spiky shield from Smeargle, maybe expecting that Talonflame to attack it. Oh, but that's not what's going to happen. Another great prediction. Wow.
Talon going straight for the Xerneas, which is one other weakness the Smeargle has. If it's alone, it can't do too much anymore on the battlefield.
So Kangaskhan taking a little bit of damage. And think again, the Geomancy, the only chance that Felix can fight back, he has to take this chance now.
Yeah, the Smeargle probably knowing Follow Me could give the Xerneas a chance to do something in this game actually. So it's interesting to see how Christoph will try to get this at home. So of course, if the Smeargle can't protect the Xerneas here anymore, that's basically game. But Smeargle usually packs Follow Me, and I think we will see it here.
Followed by a Dazzling Gleam, most likely.
Well, yeah, because the Xerneas is now faster than Kangaskhan, and Kangaskhan's... so no Follow Me here from
connecting. If it's going to be Xerneas, that's game.
No, it's going for the Smeargle, actually. Okay.
Ooh, maybe expecting that protect.
Well, definitely didn't expect the Xerneas not to protect, I would say. So Xerneas now getting off the Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast.
It was Moonblast. Okay,
So
and now Xerneas against the two remaining Pokemon that Christoph has in his bag. So what's it going to be?
Well, I guess it's Kyogre and Rayquaza. But maybe he did pick the Amoonguss.
There's Rayquaza. It is packing the Extreme Speed, we know that, and it's Kyogre as you suspected, bringing up the Drizzle, but Rayquaza, as you know, is getting rid of these effects.
Well, yeah, Xerneas, even at +2, should not be able to take out with Kyogre with a Dazzling Gleam. And it's still a pretty tough situation, of course, for the Xerneas. And Kyogre... So he goes for the Moonblast. Will it be enough? Going for the Kyogre.
Oh no, it hangs on. Just like last time when it survived with just 1 HP, is scald, and now Dragon Ascent, it's connecting.
That should be a
and that seals
good
the
game.
deal.
And we have ourselves a new champion.
This beautiful attack concludes this year's Austrian Arena Cup in Innsbruck for the VGC Masters Division. Well done, Christoph. Fighting back after being behind 1-0, now being our new champion.
Congratulations, Christoph. Really great game.
Great game indeed. He read Felix maybe a little bit better than Felix wanted to admit after all he's done with his Xerneas, and also he had a little bit more luck maybe in game number 2 when his Kyogre survived just barely.
I think he prepared for that. I think he prepared for the Kyogre being able to survive the Moonblast. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen this damage output right here. It was a good bit of less than last time, so I think it was really calculated when he made the defensive spreads that he
And this is where you can see that it's so important that you train your Pokemon carefully to prepare for all the different matchups you might be facing. For example, a fully powered Geomancy up, Xerneas, attacking you with a Moonblast. Well done.
I'm pretty sure he took Felix by surprise there, and this is what, in the end, decided the whole series here.
And this is also why it is well deserved for Christoph to now claim his title here at the Arena Cup. This concludes today's VGC action. There's plenty of more TCG action to come. We'll be back with the top 8 of the TCG Masters very soon. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.
Stay tuned.